Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Javier from The Real Javier Novoa, a channel, a platform, and a modality where we apply the principles of philosophy, spirituality, mysticism, and business, and good planning, of which we are now in the middle of a series in strategic planning. How to give yourself a power punch to attain rapid lifestyle transformation, which means getting free from a job and a boss within 6 months to a year, which is becoming all the more necessary. We apply all of these to, did we say that we apply philosophy, spirituality, mysticism, and business to rapid lifestyle transformation? And that means getting you free from a job and a boss within 6 months to a year. You know, ladies and gentlemen, for me, rapid lifestyle transformation is not just a nice to have. It's not a suggestion. It's not something that, well, it's nice to do it on your spare time. I believe this is absolutely essential due to what's going on the ground. And we don't often talk about current events really anymore on this channel, because I think it lost a lot of people, especially those who are in the law of assumption, law of attraction modality. But here at The Real Javier Novoa, we're not namby-pamby. We're not positive thinking individuals, although thinking positively plays a great role in getting your state up. This is not based on, nor is it about, simple positive thinking. In fact, I'm not a positive thinking individual all the time. I'm a hard-nosed entrepreneur. And again, I'm not namby-pamby. I'm not, shall we say, woo-woo, or someone who is a space cadet, or someone who's not living in reality. I work in reality every single day in ways that many others, especially critics of our modality and channel, wouldn't know if it hit them in the head. I work with reality. I'm on the ground. I'm dealing with the prison grid every single day. And it's based on a deep knowledge of that. Based on the knowledge of the hard-nosed, hard-hitting, on-the-ground, in-your-face reality, so to speak, that I am promulgating these principles because they work, ladies and gentlemen, because they are scientifically measurable. And we have measurements. I'm currently working with a business, and we have numbers coming out in the next few months that are going to corroborate the actual application of this modality in a business setting with measurable, achievable results. I mention this, ladies and gentlemen, because we had a comment, I believe it was about 2 videos back, and the person basically said that, I think he was referring to my channel. He said, Javier, I think you're very talented at weaving together half-truths and myths into a pile of garbage, and something to that extent. And I always knew that the prison grid would react to what we're putting out there, because they don't want us to put this information out there. Why? Because the prison grid feeds upon your energy. It depends upon your energy. And getting people free from that prison grid, no, they don't want you to do that. Rather, they want you to be stuck in the quicksand. And this, minion of the prison grid who made this comment is probably someone who, first of all, wants you to be stuck because he himself is not living up to his potential. And therefore he has a very negative outlook on life. And therefore he's trying to pull others down. And we said, much love to him. And I always say, if these principles don't work for you, because my modality is not going to be for everybody. It's not going to be for every personality type. This is a modality of actually putting into practice the principles that other coaches simply talk about, because I'm a practical guy, and because I agree with the statement of William James that a philosophy is only good, or is only as good as it makes contributions, makes positive contributions to your life. And I can think of no more positive contribution to getting off the prison grid. But no, this commentator wants you to remain in the prison grid. And of course, we will expect pushback from that. But I'm not someone who is denying reality. Far be it, nothing could be further from the truth. I expound these principles because I have put them into practice and I've seen results. And in my years of experience in business and in consulting, I've gotten results both for myself and for my clients. That being said, I'd encourage you to listen in, but if you don't want to, I'd encourage you not to subscribe to the channel. If you want to remain on the prison grid, I will give you, our best, and we will set that as your right and your choice and go right ahead to do that. But for the rest of us, we're here to get off the prison grid. We're not here for positive thinking. We're not here to put our heads in the sand and to deny reality. Every one of these principles that we're expounding in this channel is proven by science, and every one of them is used in business, in government, and in athletics, of all things. In fields where everything is on the line at times. And getting across the finish line is really something of import. It's not just play, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we know on the ultimate level everything is a game and we're in the game. It's that knowledge that allows us to win the game. It's that knowledge that allows us to cross the finish line. But ladies and gentlemen, this is all based upon study, this is based upon empiricism, and this is based upon fact. And everything that I say can be backed up and has been backed up. And so I'd encourage you to watch this channel with a bent towards implementing the principles, with a bent towards action. If you want to just listen to something and feel good and not do anything and not have it make an impact in your life, there are tons of other channels that will help you do that you can just listen for entertainment. This channel is not entertainment, primarily, although you will be entertained. This channel is about action. This channel is about implementation. And I do believe this is the most practical channel out there in the law of attraction, law of assumption modality. Show me another law of assumption channel that is going into the nitty-gritty principles of strategic planning, based not only on reading and study, but based upon implementation in tons of businesses on the ground, giving you that information, exposing that to you, intermixed with an understanding of how reality actually works, the laws of the universe. There's no other channel out there in this modality that's going to be doing that. There's no other channel that's going to be giving you the complete picture and the complete puzzle. And that's why I'd ask you to join the channel. I'd ask you, if you have not, to please subscribe to the channel, because you'll be joining a community of master manifestors. You'll be getting alerts to all of our videos that are coming out daily, and you'll also be helping us get the word out, get the algorithm in our favor, and basically go on the offensive, so to speak, strategically and figuratively, ideologically, against the prison grid, which is that setup which wants to keep you ensnared in a job and a boss, so on and so forth. Keep your time tied up so that you cannot do what you came here to do, ladies and gentlemen. So hit the subscribe button below, and I will give you a moment to do that. Thank you so much for subscribing. And like we said, ladies and gentlemen, the current events are there, ladies and gentlemen. The society is basically in many facets unraveling. And we're not denying this. Again, there are a lot of law of assumption channels that will say, oh no, just think positive. This is not positive thinking, ladies and gentlemen. We did make a video about this, but NATO is preparing for the biggest military exercise since the Cold War. Things going on with the World Health Organization we won't go into in details here, but needless to say that we may be going back to a sort of setup that we've had 2 years ago. Stay tuned for that. Electricity and sources of power being cut off. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a joke, ladies and gentlemen. And It's why I'm out here doing what I'm doing. Because the only way to be safe and self-sufficient is, of course, first of all, getting spiritually there. And knowing who you are. Knowing that you're a divinity. Knowing about film roles. And knowing that each film role is within you. And that you can get onto any film role at any moment that you can. And then knowing how to play the game. The rules of the game, ladies and gentlemen. And this channel I'm giving you, I'm presenting to you the rules of the game. But positive thinking, ladies and gentlemen, almost all of the law of assumption, law of attraction coaches will say that you have to be positive, you have to be vibrationally in tuned and aligned with it in order to get it, and that's absolutely not true. And why is that? Simply for the fact that, does God have to be vibrationally in tune to get something that He wants? Does God have to be positive to get something that He wants? Of course He always is. But there's no obligation, there's no necessity. Because you are it, you have it at the moment that you conceive it, even before, and there's nothing that you have to do. And positive thinking, while that will get you in a good vibrational state, and we do encourage it on some phases of the path, if it's done to get something, then you're right back in works. You're right back in servitude, and then you're not in this modality, you're in another modality. You're basically in the modality of the prison grid. You don't have to do anything to have what you already want. As Eckhart Tolle says, do you have to do something to be you? No, you don't. And so I'm a real empirical, hard-nosed entrepreneur, and I'm applying the law of assumption, law of attraction to get exactly what I want. And there's nothing that I have to do to earn that. There's nothing that you have to do to earn that. Just snap into that state, get into that state, and you are it. And all of the tools that we present in this channel, not least of which is the strategic planning modality that we're going into in the next few weeks and months, they are to help you remain in that state and to basically be an expression of yourself from that state. But like we said, if it ever feels like work, if it ever feels like effort, just revert back to that primary state. As Neville Goddard said, revert back to first principles, and that is, be still and know that I am God. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about positive thinking, it's not about trying to earn it, but we are presenting you with the tools here to get off the prison grid and to be free from a job and a boss within 6 months to a year. We're using the model of a year here just in order to give you space to be able to create, and just in order to allow you to take a relaxed approach to that. So, we're still in the process, ladies and gentlemen, of what we call meta planning. And we're going to be in that process for the next few weeks. And that's basically planning the first 6 month stage of this. As I talked about in the previous video, we're dividing the strategic planning session up into 3 stages. The first stage is the planning of the plan, the pre-planning, the preparation, if you will. And that's going to be about 3 weeks. Then on October 1st, we're going to be encouraging you to start the first 6 month phase of that plan, and that's going to be the setting up, the setting up, the testing phase, and the iteration phase. And that is basically finding out what streams of income would be compatible with your intentions and with your guidelines that you set up. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the video we made on Sunday, which introduced this. And then you will be testing those, road testing those. We're going to be giving you strategies to do that. But basically, this process of the plan, which is the first stage, is basically going to be to getting you a general framework of what you're going to be doing for the first 6 months. And that's basically setting up your gear, ladies and gentlemen. So you're going to need a good desk, and we have this here. You're going to need what we call a war room, which is a metaphysical or a metaphorical and metaphysical war room, which is basically going to be your space to plan, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be your space to think. And then what are we going to do? We talked about this in the first videos of this. You're going to sit down And you're either going to be brainstorming ideas or journaling, or you're just going to be sitting down and envisioning the end. Because especially if this is the first time you've ever implemented a strategic planning process, you're probably not going to know what you should do or what to do. We gave you some good guidelines in yesterday's video, the video on Sunday, so I'm not going to go into that again. I'd encourage you to watch yesterday's video. But basically, you have time, ladies and gentlemen, for this because you're already in the process. So just schedule some time, maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes every single day. And I want you to just sit down and I want you to get into an alpha state. And you can do that by just closing your eyes and taking deep breaths. You can look up a little bit on the horizon. That helps you get into alpha. And then ask yourself, okay, what do I see the end of the first 6 months looking like? What have I achieved in the first 6 months? Well, what you're going to achieve is 1 or 2 streams of income that you've tested and that you know have the potential to give you the income that you're seeking, which is basically the income that's going to allow you to be free from a job and a boss. Which leads us to the other question that I hope you've already thought about and that you can be thinking about. And that is, okay, what is my income? And if you haven't done this, you should do this as well. Start journaling what the end of the whole planning process is going to be for you. So, we talked about this a few videos back. What it should be is I'm completely free from a job and a boss. I have such and such an income every month. And I only have to work a few hours a day, or I don't have to work any hours a day, and I have freedom of schedule and freedom of location. That's what we're going for, ladies and gentlemen. Mine is, I focus on this for 3 to 4 hours, 4 to 5 days a week, and I can take off any days that I want, and I can work those hours at any time that I want during the day. So it could be from at 1 a.m., it could be at 8 a.m. I can take off any days I want, and then I don't really have to focus on anything after that. That is freedom, ladies and gentlemen, from the prison grid, and it's what you can have after this planning process. Rather, it's what you have already now. This planning process is just going to be an unfoldment of that. I hope you understand us just a little bit. During this early time, you just need to start thinking about general questions like that. And go off on rabbit trails, ladies and gentlemen, because again, we have a year. We have time. You want to get into as much vibrational resonance with this as possible. You want to feel at peace. You want to be able to get into deep focus and into what we call flow. It's not necessarily going to take a year. This first stage could take 3 days. And after 3 days, you can say, okay, you know what? I'm ready to go into the first 6 months and start testing. So, or even start finding things to test. And then you can start sifting your thoughts for that. Okay, what kind of business do I want to go into? What do I think would be one of those? You can even start Googling things. Okay, here's a way to make money, and so on and so forth. In this early stage, you're just getting your sea legs. Also, what year do I need? And then you can start negative planning. And remember, it's not all about positive thinking. We're going to incorporate some negative thinking. Okay, what are the biggest obstacles to me just sitting down and doing this plan? What are some of my biggest fears? What's keeping me from doing it? Do I feel any resistance? And then just journal about that, and you can smooth that out. That's what you're doing in these early stages of this plan. For the next few days, I'm going to be guiding you through some templates for this. And of course, remember, I can't tell you how to do this. You're going to have to learn and get a feel for it yourself. I can show you the tool. I can show you how I use the tool, and I can give you some steps. But you have to do it. As Neville Goddard said, you are the operant power here. So, this is the pre-planning stage. This is the pre-game prep, so to speak. Start doing it today. Start scheduling 15, 20, 30 minutes and start getting into the habit of just sitting there. And remember, you don't have to make anything happen because you have time and you have space, and just enjoy the process. So guys, we're going to be releasing a lot of new videos this week about the first stages of that planning process. I'm going to walk you through it step by step and hand in hand. So you want to stay tuned this week to the videos. Remember, I am doing coaching calls where I will take you hand in hand and show you this modality. And you will make more progress in weeks than many people make in years. I'll put my email in the description. Until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, with great love and appreciation, this is Javier. Thanks for watching. With great love and appreciation. Ciao.